Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel, a radical soul untangled. Well, happy Sunday. I hope everyone's weekend has been going well. I figured I'd do this. I don't know if I'll make this a weekly thing, maybe a Sunday thing, or maybe just a monthly thing. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of feeling my way through all of this, but um, this is going to be, I'm going to call like an angel reading. Maybe since it's if I do these on Sundays, it'll be to get us like prepared for, how to go into the week, what kind of energy we need to bring into the week, what kind of energies we need to be aware of, working with us or against us, and how we can, you know, how that can be conducive to our growth. So I'm using two decks. First, I did an opening spread here with 3 cards from the Angel Guide Oracle deck by Kyle Gray. I really do like this deck. It's a pretty simple kind of oracle deck. And then I used as clarifiers, excuse me, Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radley Valentine. And I like these decks. They're pretty uplifting, and I like to use them, especially in readings with somebody's like really struggling with, a very difficult part of their life, because they're fairly positive. They have text already on them, which I use as like a guide, but I'm not going solely off of that. So anyway, I just find that they're uplifting but honest. And I generally don't do like reversal readings. I just basically go off of the context, which you'll see in a moment. So without any more delay. So initially, so these are kind of like the overarching energies I got using the Oracle deck. And so first we have opportunity and change. And I really love the colors here. I really love the kaleidoscope of colors in her wings, especially. And I like how here she's got this, you know, uh, symbol on her torso. And I feel like it could look like a lot of things. Like at first I thought it kind of looked like a ram's head with the horns. Then I'm like, well, maybe it's more like a dragon head, or maybe it's even kind of like a type of phoenix. But either way, you see there that's like kind of like right over her solar plexus, and the point of it almost at the sacral chakra. So we have a lot of creative energy, and we have a lot of self-confidence and high degree of self-awareness there. And then just like the rainbow colors, I just tend to mean kind of like a balanced chakra system overall. And this card says opportunity and change. And I like that she looks kind of like welcoming, like, come with me if you want to go on an adventure, you know. So I like that energy that she's got there. And yeah, this is saying that maybe there are some changes coming up and some opportunities, but opportunities are often a lot more subtle than we expect. We kind of expect somebody to come up to us and say like, hey, have I got an opportunity for you? But a lot of times it's just very subtle nudges, from forces all around you. And that's how angels tend to guide you, with gentle nudges, not with big shoves or shoving something right into your experience, because they know that usually creates a lot of resistance. So really the problem people have with it, communicating with angels, isn't that the angels aren't listening, and it isn't that the angels are ignoring you. It's that they communicate in such subtle ways it's easy to overlook. So I like how she has her hand extended and she has this trusting look, but it's kind of like, yeah, we're going to take things to the next level if you're ready. It's not it's inviting, but it's like, I don't know, I just feel like a very much an energy of let's go do this thing, not like come here and let me hold you, um, kind of energy. But I like the bird perched in her hand shows just kind of how, it's still very gentle, So anyway, so we have that, and it kind of goes along with this other energy telling us to listen deeply, because like I was saying there with the opportunities and change, the angels communicate in very subtle ways, and they communicate with you. They work in conjunction with your own intuition, with your own internal guidance system. So you need to take the time to quiet yourself, to quiet your mind, practice meditation, and listen to your heart. And sometimes, if you, as you go into a meditation and you invite angels into your meditation, saying, I call upon my guardian angel or my highest spirit guides to be with me in this moment as I contemplate this issue. And you take a deep breath and you listen. You may even feel, I've experienced this, like a warm tingling sensation, usually like in the upper back or, or around the shoulders, or around your head in crown chakra or at the third eye. You usually get a lot of tingling, right between my eyebrows there. And, so she's got her wings kind of, protecting him, and you see like her aura kind of blending with his aura. And so that's being in the receiving mode. That's being receptive to your internal guidance along with the spiritual guidance of the angels. And then we have courage and bravery. It's the third energy that came up. I think this is a really cool card. Because what I get from this is there's basically purple and yellow, so we have like intuition and even crown chakra energy, and we also have a lot of solar plexus energy, so a lot of self-confidence, knowing yourself. We even have, almost like an eye in the middle of this sun, sun rays of like confidence here on her shield. And usually when we think of bravery and courage, we think of like a warrior or a fighter, somebody coming into a battle. And so usually somebody who's prepared for a battle is going to have a weapon. She doesn't hold it. This angel doesn't hold a weapon. They hold a shield, but instead they hold a banner. And I take this to kind of mean like your identity, or like your truth, your inner truth, your in your message, either your identity, your message, which usually tied in together. And so she's got some armor on her and she's got a shield, but the shield's not very big. And the shield partially covers her heart, but not completely. And I take this to mean like, be bold, carry the banner of your truth, carry the banner of your identity, of your message. Don't be afraid of who you are. Wave this big colorful flag around with confidence. And yes, you may need to have a shield to protect yourself emotionally for those who will, resist your message or deny your message, deny your truth, who aren't ready to hear it, and who may even, act defensively as you proclaim it. So this is a good reminder that yes, you need to be able to protect your energy. You need to know when to withdraw, put up a block and withdraw to protect and preserve your own energy. But you don't have to go in armed yourself. You don't have to attack back when people come after you, it seems like. You can just quietly, withdraw and heal, from those wounds so that it don't become a trauma, and process that, and then come back again, keep flying that banner. And yeah, if you're also going to be receptive to opportunities and change, you need to be courageous. You need to be brave about it. So those are the three overarching energies. And then the tarot cards are kind of, supporting energies or energies that may be potentially impeding. And I get that very strongly with here, the Nine of Wands. And this is channels the energy of Archangel Ariel. So she's kind of the, well, hold on, let me make sure, because he uses these little abbreviations and sometimes I do get them mixed up because some of them are similar. Yes, okay, that is Ariel. There's Ariel and there's Azrael, A-Z. Okay, yeah, so that is Archangel, excuse me there, but that's Archangel Ariel. So, angel that is very earth connected with like, you know, because it says environmental activism and animal rights, but very kind of like brave, dynamic archangel. And this one says, protect what you have created, be prepared, never give up. Ask your angels for help, and environmental activism and animal rights. That might be your focus. But what I get in this card is a lot of, again, more of that solar plexus energy here. A lot of knowing who you are, understanding who you are and what you're about. And of course, there's orange in the border and a little bit of orange here. So also your sacral chakra, your creativity is also in play, and your sensuality and your fiery passion. And so you might, but the Nine of Wands tends to have like a lot of defensive energy around it. So you have to be careful. And here she has a shield as well, and armor, which echoes that courage and bravery card. And her hair shield's a good bit bigger, and her armor's bigger. And she has is the number 9, because this is a 9 card. And 9s tend to mean like attainment, you know. So you know, so you've gained, you know, you've maybe made that, you've created this project, this project that you've been working on, or this goal that you've been working towards has kind of finally start to manifest in a very tangible form. And you know, so you feel like this need to protect what you've created, and you want to be kind of prepared for anything. But and so, and you see all these wands floating around her. But I think an important element here is that she's got a cloak and it's green. And so to me, that green means you still have to stay heart-centered, even in this defensive, because otherwise you become defensive in a way where that shield becomes less maneuverable. It becomes more of a blockade. It becomes more of a solid barrier. And you end up blocking out opportunities for change and for growth, you know, because you might be overly attached to all the energy that you invested in this project, you know, or this creation that you made, and you become so attached to it. You might be so attached to, could even be just like the home, the quality of the home you have, or the job you have, and you're like, no, I've invested way too much energy in this. I don't want to change. So to me, this is kind of like a double-edged sword, where yes, you want to protect what you've created, but you also need to know when to walk away from it when it's necessary. You don't want to be so attached to it that you block out opportunities for change and for growth and for better things in the future. And then we have another energy that I think we need to kind of be on the alert for, is the Four of Cups. And this is Archangel Chamuel. And he's kind of like the archangel of, you know, helping people who feel lost get back on their path, or reconnecting you with things or people that you thought were lost in your life. But if they're meant for you, this is the, if you love it, let it go, and it'll come back to you kind of angel. He's the angel that helps guide the people who are meant to be in your life for the most part, and you might have to part for a while. This is the angel that makes sure you guys kind of get back on track, or help you find your way back to each other when the time is right. So in this, the Four of Cups says, failing to recognize magical opportunities, missing the point, the distractions of daily life, discontentment or boredom, lost in your own world. Wake up. So yeah, it's time to wake up. You see this person, he's focused so much on these 3 cups, and here's the angel right behind him, you know, wanting to tap him on the shoulder, holding this 4th cup of like new opportunities, more love coming into his life, making him aware that there's so much more love from like divine sources. And he's sitting under this fruit tree, you know, is that like oranges, I'm guessing? Or so he's sitting under this fruit tree, but he's probably dwelling on how empty his cups are when he has all this juicy fruit all around him, you know. So he's got an abundance of love around him. He's got abundance of prosperity around him, but he's just so focused on what he has and doesn't have, that he's not aware and looking out for opportunities and change. Again, this is to reinforce the need to listen deeply, and because I told you those cues from the angels and from the universe in general tend to be very subtle, and you have to be very open, and so not being so focused on, you know, this is usually a card of boredom in a relationship, like the relationship feels kind of stale or stagnant or maybe even stifling. And so it's that kind of phase in your relationship where you get so focused on the little nitpicking on the little things that irritate you about your partner that you start to overlook all the wonderful things that you fell in love with them about in the first place. But this could even be about, if this is about a project, this could be that, this passion project has now become kind of stale, but you feel like, hey, I devoted so much time and so much energy into it. I've got to keep it going, So these are kind of energies that we need to look out for, because they might be hindering this opportunity for growth. And energies that kind of go along with, and kind of, in this case, support the listen deeply card is Two of Cups. So another Cups card, but this one by the angelic energy behind this is Archangel Raphael. And that would be like the angel of the archangel for healing, for emotional and spiritual healing in particular. And I think this card is kind of funny. Anyways, the text says, falling in love or the resurgence of a romantic relationship, forgiveness and the ending of challenges, exchanging gifts, and don't give up on the people you love. And so I think this card is funny because look how kind of awkward those two people are. So it's kind of like when you're getting to know some, it reminds me of when you first go on like a first date, or you first start talking with somebody, that might have like some romantic potential, and how you're kind of awkward and stilted at first. You're kind of so eager to impress them, that you're kind of shoving your cup of love like right into their face, and but you're also kind of keeping your arm locked, and you're kind of keeping them at arm's length too. So you're trying to force them with impressing them, but you're kind of keeping them from getting too close because you're not sure if you quite feel safe with them getting close to you yet. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, this just kind of reminds me of the awkward moments in a new relationship. Let's see, so we have kind of like a moon energy there. There's a lot of moon energy in this deck. Like almost like every other card has like a moon or a crescent moon or full moon. There's a moon here too. So a lot of, reflecting, using your intuition, because angels will guide you through your intuition, not through your rational mind. It's ironic that I'm even doing these kind of readings, because for well over a decade, I identified as an atheist and a skeptic, and I'm doing angel readings on YouTube. So funny how that works, and that's because I learned to open up my intuition, tap into that, and I realized that there is a real connection with the divine and other spiritual entities, that are non-physical. So also forgiveness is an important energy to have in general. Usually a lot of people say, well, I'm never going to forgive that person for what they did to me. And it's like, well, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean you tell them, I forgive you. You don't ever have to you're not obligated to ever speak to that person, contact that person, dignify any attempts they make to contact you with a response if you do not feel ready, or that it is in the interest of your highest good. You don't have to ever tell them, I forgive you. You need to forgive them for your own self, just to give yourself the space to the ability to let go of that past pain, that past trauma, and finally put it down, put it to rest. Because the more you hold on to that, the less space you have to grow and change with new opportunities. Because all those, holding on to all those traumas, reliving all those memories, replaying all those old stories, take up space in your heart and in your mind, and really ends up limiting you. So if you've been feeling stuck, you know, and you're like, I don't know how I'll ever, you know, how will I recognize these opportunities? I don't feel like I can get there. Well, a key might be in this card, a reminder that you need to forgive those who have hurt you in your past. And also, as you like release those old energies, you know, that have been holding you back, of wounding and trauma, as you start to just finally put that down and move forward and let go, there will be more new relationships, loving, not necessarily romantic, but just generally more loving relationships will open up, and the relationships you are currently in will also become healthier, more balanced, and more open and intimate. And another energy we have supporting this is renewal. Now, I think it's really interesting, something I actually kind of like, and I have he has two Archangel decks, so I tend to like the Angel Wisdom Tarot best. I like the artwork better, really. But there's also an Archangel Power Tarot deck by the same author, and he tends to reword certain cards that have a word that's usually, very charged, like have a strong emotional negative charge, and this is one of them. This is renewal, but it's generally known as judgment. And I think also, like, the Devil card has been changed to ego, and the Death card is called like transition or rebirth. I think even the Tower is something else. I can't remember offhand. But so there are these cards that tend to have like an emotionally charged word that might, you know, make people kind of be defensive. So I think it's actually kind of clever that he rewords some of these cards to put a more positive, uplifting spin on these cards to make people feel less, so that they're less defensive and more open to the advice, you know, from the cards and from the reader. So this is renewal. And it says, reviewing the past with compassion and forgiveness, a time to head in a new direction, clarity on your life's purpose. In your heart, you know what to do, which I think is like very, you know, important. In your heart, you know what to do. You just have to take the time to listen deeply. And to know you're going in the right direction. And sometimes, you know, what keeps us from taking these opportunities on and change is a lot of self-doubt. Is this what's right for me? Is this, you know, what if? And you take the time to listen to yourself deeply, and call in your angels if necessary, then you don't have to spend so much time in the what ifs. You know, the what ifs start to fall away as you start to go like, is this in my highest and best good? Rather than should I, shouldn't I? Is this bad or is this good? You just say, is this for my highest and best good? And you'll find that clarity really starts to come in with just that simple reframe. This card has two flags. I really only understand the main purpose of one. That's the symbol for Pluto, and Pluto is the planet of transformation, you know, because like the god of the underworld, you know, so like a falling away of things, but, you know, also like a rebirth of things. However, I looked that up. That's the flag for Denmark. I don't know what the symbolism of Denmark is in this card. So I don't know if that means that the author or the artist is maybe Danish, Dan Craig, maybe Dan's a Dane, Dan the Dane. I don't know for sure, but that's what that other flag is. I don't know the overall meaning, but another way I like to view the Judgment card is, you know, or in this case, renewal, is evaluating if the life path that you are on is in your alignment. I think I said before, with the Light Seers Tarot, I feel like that comes through very clearly. You know, are your soul identity, like, you know, that you have, like, and that card's like she's a dancer, and you can see this, she has the spirit of a dancer through her. You know, are you living in that alignment of you know, who you truly are, as you start to get to really know who you are at a more spiritual level? Are these actions in alignment with, you know, are your words in alignment, and are you staying in your, you know, in high character with who you are? And this is Archangel Jeremiel. I don't know if I'm saying that right exactly, but he's kind of like a higher messenger, you know, for the divine, and he's usually cloaked in purple, so meaning he's helps communicate with you through your insights and through the crown chakra as well. So he helps facilitate like connections between your higher self and the divine. And so you see these people, they're kind of just looking like, hey, how are we doing, you know? But and I take it to mean, you know, usually that means, oh, this judgment, this angel is casting judgment upon these people. But I feel like you would really be saying, like, you tell me. Like, hey, how are we doing? He's like, you tell me, how do you feel like you're doing, you know? But anyways, and yes, it says, I like this, reviewing the past with compassion and forgiveness. If you look at how do you judge your past self? You know, I think that's another really important question that this card is asking us to consider. How do you view your past self? How do you judge your past self? Do you cringe whenever you think of your past self? Do you think, oh, I was such an idiot back then. Oh, I was such an asshole back then. Oh, you know, if only I knew better. Oh, if only I wasn't such a screw up back then, you know. Or do you or do you look back and see yourself with compassion and forgiveness? You know, do you go back and say, yeah, I didn't know then what I knew now, or I didn't have the same degree of clarity back then that I knew now. I understood that I shouldn't act or feel this, or I shouldn't act or you know, speak this way, but I didn't understand why. So I couldn't make that connection, you know, and forgive your past self for, you know, not knowing. You say, I didn't know who I was back then, or I didn't understand that fully back then. And now I do, and I can forgive myself because I didn't even know back then what I know now, you know. And if I could do it all over again, I would. And I have the opportunity to do it all over again every single day in one shape or form or another. And so I'm going to keep moving forward. If you're sitting in judgment of yourself, if you're not forgiving your past self, you know, that could be, you know, that is also going to be a barrier to letting new love in. And that is also going to be a barrier to allowing new opportunities to flow into your life. And then we have the supporting, you know, or possibly hindering energies for courage and bravery. And we have the World. And this is Archangel Jophiel. She's kind of like the archangel of, you know, beauty and optimism. She's a very sunny personality. I really love how the artist portrays her. She has such a phenomenal smile. I don't know if it's coming through very clearly in this, but look it up. She's got a beautiful smile. And so she's got like the laurels around her. I'm assuming maybe olive branch laurels. And we have the 4 elements, you know, earth, wind, air, fire, the infinity. So, you know, the World, well, it says here, a brilliant success, a time for joyful accomplishment and spiritual enlightenment, freedom to do whatever you want, be proud of yourself. So the World card is generally a cycle closes in, you know, the best way possible. You know, this is kind of like the hero's welcome home. You know, if you see the major arcana as like the hero's journey, you know, this is the triumphant return home, changed for the better kind of energy. you know, so she's surrounded by laurels. She's got, you know, flower petals thrown at her like confetti. And she's holding two wands, like a silver and a gold wand. Um, you know, wands being the wand energy being like, you know, fire. And I also kind of take that to mean like kind of like an attainment of like material and spiritual growth. And what I think is interesting though is that we have here, that's a symbol for Saturn. And I'm thinking, so at first I thought it was Jupiter, and I was like, wait, no, that's not Jupiter, duh. That's Saturn? Wait, Saturn is the planet of constriction, of limitations. So why would, you know, I would think Jupiter, because Jupiter means expansive, you know, growth. But I take this to mean overcoming of previous limitations, you know, often self-imposed limitations that you might have had on yourself, you know, that this is kind of like the victory is overcoming those limitations, you know, and that you're seeing them for kind of like the illusion that they are. So that's kind of what I get from this world card. That and again, you know, if you consult with your angels, if you know, listen and listen deeply, respond to these subtle cues for opportunities for change, and you pursue them with courage and bravery. You might be afraid, you might have to have a shield, but just be proud of who you are, know who you are, tap into your insight, and, you know, the world is your oyster. You know, the world, you know, is at your fingertips once you really start to even just a little bit move into this kind of energy. You will just find all of a sudden things just working out for you more than you had realized in the past. And then I think the final energy we'll do here is the Knight of Pentacles. Here they kind of use a leaf to kind of reinforce the earth suit there. And so this is the Knight of Pentacles. Loyal, dedicated, protective, apprehensive. Plan carefully before taking action, but then get going. Pay attention to the details. Wait for perfect timing. A guardian angel or someone who watches over you is also this. So this could mean that. This could mean a guardian angel or person who watches over you. This could be the energy that you need to channel. So we see here that the Knight of Pentacles is generally considered the slowest of the knights. You know, usually night energy is kind of charging in there with full gusto, kind of act before you think kind of energy. Even like the Knight of Swords, because swords are thought, but thoughts are fast. And sometimes you have a thought and you might run with it, you know, or you might feel like this need to get an idea out there before you've really had a chance to really reflect and refine it. But the Knight of Pentacles is, he's slow because he's methodical. You know, he's kind of like the methodical planner, you know, because he really sees the importance of achieving, you know, and maintaining like material gains and successes. So, so he's going to be loyal. He's going to be dedicated because he's dedicated to these projects. And it kind of echoes this Nine of Wands energy here. So that you have to be mindful to not get too bogged down in that. I see a lot of dark clouds, which is kind of interesting because usually this deck usually has brighter, more open skies. And I take like the dark clouds to kind of mean like, you know, you might see how he's really focused on this chart. It means you might get yourself, if you get overly bogged down in the details of the material world and of your material conditions right as they are now, you might lose sight of, you know, of your connection with the divine. And so you might miss out on these cues, you know, for change and growth and opportunities for change and growth, you know. And you might get, so this kind of represents a being so focused on your material, you know, planning for a brighter future that you don't act. So the night energy is to remind you, yes, it's important to plan, but you also have to follow those plans with action, with forward momentum. If if we combine like these two energies, um, it can kind of easily get stuck, you know, um, because your night can end up in this defensive kind of energy here. Um, and also, you know, um, we think of knights, we think of courage and bravery when we think of knights. So, so it can be also reminding you to tap into that, being loyal, dedicated, protective, apprehensive, like, meaning cautious, so you might be apprehensive, but that doesn't mean you use that as an excuse to keep yourself from going forward. You still have to tap into your courage and bravery and keep moving forward, in in these energies. Otherwise, you can very easily get stagnant. Pay attention to the details, but don't get bogged down in details. That has always been my great undoing, I guess, especially as a Virgo. I would before I actually wanted to start a YouTube channel for years and years for all different things I was interested in. Like, oh, I want to do it for, as a knitter, for fiber arts things. Okay, no, I'd rather, no, maybe not. Oh, I'd rather do it for science and education. Oh, but I don't quite know enough, and I don't know what my angle is going to be. Oh, I'll do it about science and skepticism and atheism and philosophy. No, I don't really know enough about that. Oh, I'll do it for leftist politics and things like that. No, I don't really know. So finally, as I took on a spiritual path, it's like, oh, fuck it, I guess I'll just do a YouTube channel, tarot reading channel. Oh, I'm not good enough about tarot. I'm actually pretty good. I'm good enough to start a YouTube channel. Let me just do it. And now, again, I'm posting tarot readings on pretty much a daily basis so far. Feel pretty good with my consistency at this point. So that is me now working with the tarot, working with other spiritual tools, and also in my spiritual development. I have learned to not get so stuck and bogged down in the details and get so bogged down in coming up with this perfect plan that I don't end up doing anything. Never made any videos about those other things I was interested in. Or maybe I made one video and nobody saw it, and I was like, well, see, not due to, doomed to failure. Comes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, now I can tap into the night energy to remind me to go oomph, get going, get that oomph to move ahead, and give myself that occasional, kick in the pants. So anyway, so I feel like this is a pretty good reading. Opportunities and change are coming. In order to be receptive and not miss them, listen deeply to your, tap into your intuition, meditate, commune with your angel guides if you feel like you have them, or your guardian angel and other angel guides, and proceed forward with courage and bravery. We just want to make sure that while you may need to defend some of the things you've been working on, you don't have to be so defensive that you refuse to let go of them when they don't no longer serve you and they need to fall away. You need to not get so bogged down in our current circumstance that we don't see these new opportunities when they come up. And the divine tries to tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, check out what this opportunity for you, if it's not super obvious. We need to, I think if we focus on forgiveness, especially forgiveness of ourselves, and looking at our past selves with compassion, we will have new relationships start to flow in, and also with new relationships, new opportunities for change and growth. A relationship is always a vehicle for change and growth. But look to our past with judgment, evaluate if we have been in our alignment, and if we haven't been in the past, how we are getting on track and how we can keep ourselves on track instead of focusing so much on our past so-called failures. Because if we proceed forward with courage and bravery, the world is ours for the taking. We just have to, maybe be a little methodical, but still keep moving forward. So anyways, I hope that's a good reading that resonates with some of you. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you would like a reading, a personal reading, please feel free to contact me. I'll have my email and Facebook links in the description. And yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your time and attention. My name is Rachel. I'm a Radical Soul Untangled, and thank you so much. Take care.